Good morning, everyone. It is sunny and beautiful, and the snow's almost gone. What a difference a day makes. Today's the start of our budget. Polly is required by household law set by me, to bring home every single receipt of what he spends, any money he takes out. He's not allowed to take out cash all week because he has cash in his wallet, and he has to make it last. So that's the start of the budget. I have some stuff crossed off of my shopping list. I was going to make banana chocolate chip muffins, but Polly was overzealous cleaning up last night and threw out the bananas that I had ready to be made into muffins. So this morning is going to be, I think, a fruit breakfast for me. I'm not going to have coffee. So I've already cleaned and diced up the cantaloupe that we picked up yesterday. I cleaned up the strawberries last night. So I already brought the strawberry heads over to the girls. So let's go bring them the cantaloupe and see if there's any eggies, and then I'll come back and have my cantaloupe. So I'll show you their trimmings and then my breakfast, because I'll have that after I come back from seeing them one more time. And then I have to run down to the basement, check the dehumidifier, make sure, empty that off. I think we have to do it like once an hour now. But first I have to find an extension cord because I want to move it further away from the sump pump, because that defeats the purpose. Otherwise, all it's doing is pulling the water out of the sump pump. So I have a couple of things to get done in the next 10-15 minutes. So I'll take you along with me. I'll show you the basement too. It's disgusting, but I'll share it. Okay, let's go. So check out all the yummies for the girls. So let's go give that to them. I might actually unplug the light and leave the garage door open for them. It's supposed to be in the mid-50s today, so I think they'll enjoy that, right? Hello, girls. Oh, you ate all your strawberries and your greens. Would you like some cantaloupe? Enjoying the cantaloupe, girls? Wow, they love that stuff. And look, I still have a ton of cabbage leaves. And it looks like feathers are growing in on you, huh? Good. Let's go check for eggies. I might still close them up because the sun's not over here yet. No eggies yet, but look, I see my bleeding hearts coming in. Right there. So I've decided not to have coffee this morning. Instead, I'm going to have cantaloupe, strawberries already sliced, cleaned and sliced, and probably a Cara orange. Mosey, is Mommy having an orange? You want a piece of strawberry? Good boy. So tasty, refreshing. Make a big bowl of fruit salad. And there's my breakfast: strawberries, bananas, cantaloupe, and a giant navel orange. So I'm going to go enjoy this, and I think I'm going to start into my first liter of water for the day. Right after I go to the basement and do that swap out first, because then I'll feel better about having accomplished something. So this is my little reward. This is going to keep me full well past lunch, but then I will decide what I'm going to have for lunch. I have some leftovers. We have macaroni and cheese with peas from last night, which was Meatless Monday. Polly made dinner. I also have turkey soup leftover from Sunday, which I can have that. So I'll see what I'm in the mood for. Right, Mosey? He's so cute. You are so cute. Yes, everybody, he is a fat dog, but he's also a very strange combination of bulldog and chihuahua, so he has a very weird body. His spindly little legs and very solid around the middle. Right, Mose? Alright, let's go do our errand in the basement and then eat breakfast. Yum!
Hi, can you do me a favor, honey? Could you give this message to the chickens? Thank you. If you can get that to him, I'd appreciate it. Oh yeah, one more thing. Thank you so much. I love you. Bye-bye.
To replay this message saved,
Yeah.
My husband is officially the goofiest. So he left a voicemail message for the chickens for me to play for them. Which, you know, I'm probably even goofier because I'll take my cell phone out there and I will play it for them. So there is my breakfast. I went to the basement, got that all straightened out, aimed the fans in different directions. So it's looking so much better. There's actually completely dry patches now. So very, very happy. Eric did a fabulous job and I gotta grab that call. It's work. I know, Chester, you want to play. I'll throw it one more time. And it's his birthday today. One more time. And look, the girls are out. But they're staying close to the coop. I think there's a couple of eggs. No, Chester, no. 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 I know you're cute, but no. Oh, finally. No socks. 50s, there go the chickens. Hey, girls. Hi. They're gonna go rummage in the bushes. No, honey, I can't play with you that much. You get tuckered out. You're not a young dog. Chester's 12 today. Samantha's 12 today as well today. No. All done. All done. I think I'm gonna just sit out here and enjoy the nice sunny weather. There's another chicken. Yeah, you could try and fly, but you don't fly. So I'm just gonna quietly sit, relax, enjoy the sun. Yeah. Spring's finally here. Loving it. Hear birds singing. Very nice. You're back with your chucket, huh? Alright, I'll play with you just a little more. So it's time to start the stuffed cabbage. I have, I would say, a medium size green cabbage. I've cut the core out expertly too. Wow, that's pretty. The core went to Moses because he loves it, right, Mosey? Those leaves are going to go to the chickens. My grandmother used to line the bottom of the pot when they go to cook with these outside leaves, but I'm not going to do that. So while I have a pot of salted boiling water, I'm going to put this in 3 to 5 minutes so the leaves start to loosen. If you try to peel them off now, some heads of cabbage are pretty sturdy, so you would end up ripping it, but as they become, as the fibers start to break down in the hot water, they will be easier to peel. So I'm going to get a pair of tongs ready and probably a big bowl, because I'm just going to leave them in the bowl until I make the stuffing as well as the sauce. And I did peel the orange zest off of the orange I had this morning for breakfast, because I'm going to candy that for something else that I'm working on for later in the week. The moment Mommy comes into the kitchen, Moses thinks that there's something for him. Should I give you something, Mosey? Here, a little piece of cabbage. Good boy. Alright, so I'm going to put this gently into the water. Okay, the best way would be to grab my spider or my... something's about to fall. Hold on. Woo! And you're getting steamed up. So sorry. Okay, I'm going to lower it so it doesn't splash on me. And it's, my pot is not deep enough, so I'm just gonna keep moving it about. And I'll check on it periodically while I start chopping the vegetables for the filling. And I'm using ground beef. You can use chicken, lamb, pork combination. You can use tempeh for vegetable, a vegetarian version. it's really just a matter of preference. I have ground beef on hand, or I think it's actually ground sirloin. So I'm going to use that with onions and garlic. And I'm going to use basmati rice, but you can use plain old American rice. I just happen to have basmati rice on hand, and that's what I'm going to use. So, and it's important that you salt this water too. I don't know if I mentioned that. Wow, that's a solid cabbage. So, and I'm going to share the finished product with mom and dad, because you know, once you go through the effort of making these, you either should probably make a big batch and freeze some of it, or make a big batch and share. So I'm gonna make the whole batch. It'll probably yield 14 to 18 leaves or so. That's gonna be my guess, but we'll see what happens in the end, right? As you peel them. And I think I'm going to cook them, actually depending on how many it makes, I may use my Le Creuset black pot and cook them in there. If not, it may be a disposable tin. So I'll have to wait and see once I see how many leaves are produced or are viable for stuffing and how much stuffing I have. Okay, I've temporarily pulled out the cabbage, and keep in mind I have asbestos fingers, so I could touch it. It's really, really hot, but I could touch it and peel back. Once I start seeing that the layers are not peeling, I will pop it back in the hot water. And like these that I've peeled off already, see how there's a thick rib right there? I'm gonna take my paring knife, and using both hands, obviously, holding one and the knife with the other, and trim that down, like shaved some down, because I don't need that giant rib in there. So I have 1, 2, 3, and I want to keep them, you know, they come off nicer once they're hot. Ooh, well, wouldn't it be funny if that ended up on the floor? So I make sure that this end is loosened first, and again, I have really asbestos fingers, and then I go to the side. Use tongs if you're doing this. See, this one's not separated from where the core was, so I'm gonna separate that with my knife. So I have to put my hand, I have to put the camera down, so I'll be right back. Alright, so I have this much of the cabbage that is not peeling easily, so I'm putting them back in the water, and I'll check in a few minutes. In the meantime, I'm gonna trim those harder veins off the back of the cabbage leaves that I have already peeled off. Let me count how many I have so far. So that's the leaves that I've peeled off so far. There's still a little bit of cabbage left, but I just pulled it out of the, see, it's still steaming. Hot, piping, boiling water. And I may not use all of these because there's not going to be a lot of room to stuff. Maybe I'll just make them like lunch size stuffed cabbage. I'll peel off all the ones that I can. So what you see here, and the darker ones are obviously from the outside, and as they get lighter, it's more on the inside. So this is 18 leaves of green cabbage. You could also use Napa. Napa would be softer, more pliable, and give you more surface space if you want to just do like one big one or two medium-sized ones per person. These are obviously going to run smaller. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get together all of my canned ingredients because I need the canned tomato products. And then I'll start on the stuffing. And there are two schools of thought on the stuffing. Some people add already cooked rice, and others add uncooked rice. I'm going to do the uncooked rice if I find enough tomato products to have all of these submerged, so then they steam slowly and the rice cooks slowly inside. If I do not find two 28 ounce, or the equivalent of 2 28-ounce cans of crushed tomatoes or diced tomatoes, and you include everything, including the juice and the diced tomatoes. If I don't find that in our pantry, I'm going to go the par-cooked rice method. So I'm going to rinse the basmati rice, and then I will par-cook it probably about 8 to 10 minutes, and then add it to the meat and onion and garlic mixture to put inside. Now, I've also seen my mom use shredded carrots in there, but since I have 2 carrots on hand and both are being saved for the carrot cake, I'm not going to use any carrots this time. But I suppose you could put whatever you want inside. Oh, Moses. Okay, so I saved the spines that I cut off, and I'm going to give them to Mosey. Good boy. So while this cools off, I'm going to go search for the canned tomato products that I need. And then I'll start on the meat saute. And I'm going to saute the meat first, then drain off any fat if there is any. I think it's 90% lean on one of them, but then I have a little piece that I think was 80 or 85, so it's questionable. So I'm going to saute the meat first, and then I'll take it out and I'll saute the onion and garlic, and then I'll return the meat back to the pan because I want to make sure I drain off any additional fat because I don't want them to be like goopy and float in fat. That's not the end result that I'm looking for. So let me go look for the tomatoes, and then I'll be back. And then I'll make the decision which way to go on the rice. So I have 20 leaves, but then all the center ones were just way too small and fragile. So I chopped them up and I'm going to make a quick kimchi. So I'm going to go look up what goes in there besides ponzu. Because I don't remember. Not off the top of my head. So I'll be back in a minute. Alright, so this is the sauce for the, that's going to go over the rolled stuffed cabbage leaves. A little bit of it is going to go into the meat before I stuff them. What's in there is 14 ounces of diced tomatoes, 14 ounces of stewed tomatoes, and 6 ounces of tomato paste. Then I added 2 cups of fat-free organic chicken broth, 3 tablespoons of lightly packed brown sugar, tablespoon of red wine vinegar, salt, black pepper, and a little bit of red pepper flakes. If I need more liquid, I'm going to add more chicken broth. I couldn't find the 2 28-ounce cans of tomatoes, so now I know I need to add canned tomato product to my grocery list for next week. I'm going to let this simmer just a little bit, then I'm going to use my immersion blender to blend this all together into a smooth sauce, and then add about half a cup of it to the meat, and I'll show you what I have in the meat. I decided not to cook the meat because from everything that I read, if you pre-cook the meat, it could be very dry. So I left the meat uncooked. I have onions and garlic. Well, I'll show you in a second what's in the bowl that I have where I have the stuffing. So what I have in this bowl is about 1.75 pounds of ground sirloin, half a medium-sized onion finely chopped, 3 large garlic cloves microplaned, salt, black pepper, quarter teaspoon of red pepper flakes, 2 large eggs, half a cup of panko, and 1 cup of rice. So I'm gonna mix this, and then I don't want to over mix it, so I need to get a little bit of the red sauce in here as well. So I'm going to start mixing it with my wooden spoon to incorporate this, and then I'll add the sauce as soon as I puree it. Alright, so that's the meat mixture that has the rice, onions, garlic, salt, black pepper, red pepper flakes, a cup of the red sauce that I just pureed, a cup of rice, half a cup of panko breadcrumbs, and 2 eggs. Mouthful, right? So now I'm going to start with the larger, darker leaves because I want them to go on the bottom. And you know what? If it worked for my grandmother, hopefully it'll work for me. Those 3 leaves that I had that were not usable, they were really thick from the outside of the cabbage. I put them at the bottom of the pan. That way I don't have to worry about the actual golubtsi, the stuffed cabbage, burning, because I'm putting it in a pot and adding the red sauce and then whatever additional liquid I need to cover them and popping them in the oven so I don't have to worry about them burning in the bottom. So let's get stuffing. Well, apparently I didn't have nearly as much meat, or I just overstuffed them, so that's it. The darker leaves are on the bottom, lighter ones on top, and I'm just going to pour the sauce over them. Nice thing I have a pour spout. And it's hot, so be careful. Perfect amount. I'm just gonna shimmy it a little, make sure it all gets in. lid it and pop it in the oven and check it in about 45 minutes. So this is really less of a faux kimchi and more of a quick pickle, kind of a kimchi flavored or reminiscent. I had radishes, so I put that in there. I think I might put a scallion in there as well. And so there's ponzu, rice wine vinegar, fish sauce, teaspoon of granulated sugar, red pepper flakes. So let me get some scallions in there. And Moses is standing by because he heard me cut into a radish and just ran right over here. Oh, and I did have a bunch of leaves left over that I didn't have enough meat for, so I'm going to see what poached cabbage leaves can be used for, because I don't want to let them go to waste. I mean, they won't go to waste because the chickens will eat them, but since I already have them prepped for us, for humans. Oh, Mosey, here. Oh, it landed on your head. Oh, he got it. Alright, let me get the scallions and add that to it. So, the stuffed cabbage should be ready, I'd say about 45 minutes to an hour. I have the lid on so it could simmer slowly at 350 in the oven. This way I don't have to babysit it, and there's no direct heat right underneath to burn the bottom layer. So, prevention. What's an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure? I'm all for that. Alright, so I've added one scallion and a tiny little bit of carrots. It would look so cute, and some radishes. So I'm going to pop this in the fridge, let it kind of marinate, do its thing. Be a nice accompaniment. Something a little sour, a little spicy, a little pickly. So there's the stuffed cabbage. I cut it in half, added some sour cream and dried parsley from my organic garden. And it looks pretty yummy. There's the rest of the pot. So I'm gonna portion some out for mom and dad and put that in a to-go container so they can have some. Probably drop it off at their house tomorrow. And I'm just waiting for Polly to come home. So this portion is going to be the one for the photo shoot and probably the one I'll eat. So I did want to make sure I showed you guys what it looks like on the inside. Rice looks cooked. There's plenty of sauce. And I'm Ukrainian, Russian, Jew, so I'm going to have it with sour cream. You can also have it with a splash of red wine vinegar, or just as is with a red sauce. We'll see what Polly decides. So that's going to be it for me for today. Thank you so much for joining me for this long and first day of spring, officially, weather-wise, lovely day. Girls enjoyed it. I enjoyed it as much as I was able to be outside. So I'm going to take some pictures, post the pictures on my blog, on Instagram, on Facebook, wherever, and do the dishes, and hopefully Polly will be home shortly and we can eat together. So yeah, if I can get that done in the next 10 minutes, that'd be perfect, because then this will be just cool enough to eat, because right now it's really, really hot. Just took it out of the oven. Alright, don't forget to thumbs up. It's free for you and it helps me out. And I'll see you all tomorrow. Thanks for watching, everyone.